How quickly is it going to get fixed? I mean, we hear, pundits in television tell us that inflation is here because demand is so high. Well, I say, well, wait a minute. And this is another topic we want to talk about. We have all these tankers, like 67 tankers sitting in Los Angeles, not being processed. If demand was so high, I'd be pushing those tankers through as quickly as possible to get all that inventory in, all those capital goods in, but they're not. So it's something else, right? And that's the issue. It's not just the fact that
plus it's difficult to say demand is too high when we're not even back to 100% of where we were pre-pandemic levels.
Exactly.
So, I mean, your pandemic drops you, right, because you shut down. So you drop, what we have, minus 30% quarters, minus another, I think we had a minus 30 and a minus 40 last year.
Right.
We haven't had recovery this year such that we're back to 100%. We're still sitting at 90-something% of where we were before.
Right.
And I don't recall
No.
shipping containers and 6% inflation in January, February of 2020.
No.
So we're not, so it can't be an overheating issue. It means if the demand is not back to where it was, but we're having this type of issue, what that means is you've got a supply issue. You have, not that you have too many people seeking goods. You have less people seeking goods than we had in February of 2020, but it means you have less goods.
Exactly.
And you see that in shortages of cars. When you see shortages of this nature, that means the supply is unable to ramp up and keep. Because you put it this way, right? Car companies are not going to be are not happy about sitting there saying, "Oh, there's so much demand for my cars. I don't feel like making any more cars today." They're sitting there saying, "I cannot make the cars. You can't finish the product. I cannot finish the product because I cannot get the semiconductor chip." Because I'm getting them from Taiwan Semiconductor, and there's not enough coming out of there.
Yeah. Or they're sitting in the.
Or they're on the ship. They're on the tanker,
exactly.
And I can't get a hold of them because they haven't yet been transferred onto the trucks that will bring them to my facility where I make the cars. And so that's where you see these issues begin to pile up. Because the issue is, is not that. Because if it was purely a demand issue, typically what happens is, yes, price will go up temporarily. But then suppliers come in.
Sure.
People are smart. Someone goes in and says, bread's really expensive. I want in on this bread game.
Exactly.
I'll make some bread and start selling it. And then the price comes back down because now there's more bread. But if no one's doing that, that's telling you something is keeping the bread guy saying, I really can't afford to go into this bread game because I can't find what I need to make bread.
Because inventory is being depleted and nobody's refilling those shelves. And therefore you can sell it at whatever price you want, right? If you got that last bottle of, iced tea on the shelf, I'm sure that store could sell it for like $5, $6, $7 because they say, wait a minute, we're going to bid this thing now, right? Because it's the last bottle and that's what's happening.
And like I told Jerry, right, we tend to think, we instantly go when prices go up to, price gouging, right? And which I'm not saying doesn't happen in natural disasters and stuff, but price is merely a mechanism that's telling us information.
Right.
So price going up is what prevents us from having shortages. Because if the price stays the same and you got too many people want something, there's not enough of it, sooner or later you just flat out run out of it.
Exactly.
As price goes up, some people tail off and say, I don't want that anymore, that price, and so you equalize. Like the point, price on the little economic spectrum is the point at which supply and demand meet.
That's right.
It's there to sort of make an equilibrium so that the number of people who want something equals the number of things that there are. And so when there's not enough things to buy, price goes up, some people tail off and say, at that price, I'll wait, right? And then before you know it, now you have the same number of people. So price going up just means that's the market's way of telling us there's not enough of something. And if you try to force this price down, all you're going to end up is that there will be too many people who want it and you'll have the empty shelf. So the price is telling us when prices go up like this, it's saying that there's not enough of something that people want.